Welcome to 7 Question Sunday. This week we're going to be discussing guaranteed hours.
What are guaranteed hours?
Contracted hours between the hospital and travel company, stating that the hospital will provide you 36 hours a week to work. Unfortunately, this does not include guaranteed pay, just that the hours will be there for you to work them. You also have to read over your contract with a fine-tooth comb to see if they slipped in a clause there stating that they can call you off 3 or 4 times in a contract.
Does it mean if I get called off, the hospital still has to pay me?
If you have guaranteed 36 hours, then they are obligated to give you 36 hours to work, and they are obligated to pay you for those 36 hours. Now you have to be careful because I know in one state there is a major healthcare, Arizona. In Arizona there's a major healthcare system down there that they only give you a 24-hour guarantee, which kind of worked out for me because in November of 2009 I only worked 3 shifts, but for the 4 weeks I worked 3 shifts, I got paid for 5 of them that I didn't work. So for me it was a great deal. That doesn't always happen. So I just want to make sure that you are aware that that is out there.
Do hospitals always offer guaranteed hours?
Unfortunately, no. Not all hospitals offer guaranteed hours. That is crucial for you to verify this with your recruiter even before you're submitted to a hospital. If this is a make or break deal for you, then you need to know this up front. When you have your interview with the manager, then this is something that you absolutely definitely need to bring up. If a hospital does not offer guaranteed hours, then you have to make that decision on whether you want to take a chance on this contract.
Since I got the verbal okay with the manager in the interview, do I still need it in my contract?
Unfortunately, what is said in the interview and what happens in a contract are 2 different things. The old saying, if it's not documented, it's not done. Well, same thing with travel contracts. If it's not in the contract, then you don't have a leg to stand on. Important, though, that you discuss any of these conditions of employment with your manager. Guaranteed hours should be included in your contract, but you need to make sure that the manager knows and your recruiter knows and that everybody is on the same page with the 36-hour guarantee. And, of course, make sure it's in your contract.
If the hospital calls me off and I have guaranteed hours, does that affect my stipends?
When you have guaranteed hours, the hospital is responsible for making sure that your contracted hours are available and you are responsible for working those hours. If it doesn't happen, then you might run into trouble to the fact that the hospital most likely are not going to pay you for the hours. Even though you think you should be paid because you have the guaranteed hours, the truth of the matter is that if you don't work the hours, then the hospital's not going to pay the agency and the agency's not going to pay you. Since you're still away from home, then the stipend should be paid if the hospital cancels your hours. But unfortunately, the reality of the situation is that if the hospitals don't pay the agency, then the agency can't pay us. So even though you get called off by the hospital, but you're still away from home, your stipends, probably you aren't going to get paid for those. Unfortunately, that's how it works in travel healthcare.
If I get called off, can they call me in later that same week?
It's great to have guaranteed hours, but you must realize that this is a 2-way street, and they must give you 36 hours a week, but you have to be available 36 hours a week to work. So, unfortunately, if they call you off on like a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, then you need to be available on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to work those 36 hours. Now, if you go to the beach one day and you have a little of them foo-foo drinks with the umbrella on it, you may have to forfeit your right to guaranteed hours because, you don't want to go in the hospital, you want to go work after foo-foo drinks. So, But you need to realize that by refusing to come in for any reason, the hospital and the agency are not obligated to pay you for those 36 hours.
So what's the point in having guaranteed hours if they're not 100% guaranteed?
So the most significant advantage is that the hospital has to guarantee those hours, and if they do not, then they are still supposed to pay you. If the hospital does pay the agency, then yes, you most definitely should get paid. The reality is that it doesn't always happen that way, but you have a better chance of getting compensated with guaranteed hours in your contract. But again, you must also accept the responsibility of being available to work on later days if you get canceled. So, you know what? Hey, this is the end of our first 7 questions Sunday, and we will see you next week. Bye, y'all.